abducted and tortured after scamming investors out of $29 million before blowing $12 million. Fleet on supercars, luxury vacations, and a private jet. I just don't see how these people get away with this stuff. Aiden Platursky, 24, is currently going through bankruptcy proceedings. Authorities are trying to recover $29 million he allegedly swiped from investors. And I just don't see how people look at this guy. And, I hate to say looks say a lot, but I mean, in this case, it seems like it kind of does. I mean, this guy looks like a little pipsqueak. I mean, really? Is this what people are giving $29 million for? Is there some kind of bigger picture I'm missing here? So, new report suggests he was kidnapped and held for millions in ransom. I'm going to be honest, guys. I've never heard of this guy, ever. I never have even heard his name or seen any pictures. Maybe it's because I'm not on Twitter. It's got 4,000 shares of this article that's on the Daily Mail. It's on several other little spam news sites. I don't think it's really anywhere important, to kind of give you an idea of how maybe important this guy is in the whole big picture of things. But nonetheless, apparently he was kidnapped and tortured. So I don't doubt it. I mean, you can't go and put on bandanas and drive around in luxury cars like Lambos and all that stuff and rip people off and expect people to not come coming for you. I mean, that just seems a little bit expected. You're going to get one of these crazy people that loses their life savings that's not really, doesn't really have anything to lose, at that point. So, Platursky claims that he was kidnapped in December and held for 3 days and tortured. So, okay, this story makes a little... This guy is now claiming this was the case. The bankruptcy case is continuing amid allegations of wild spending. So, this guy is... not only has scammed these people, he's on different social media sites, standing about 5'2", maybe looks like about 100 pounds, wearing a bandana and looking like one of these flashy rappers. But I mean, people were buying it. They gave this guy millions of dollars apparently. So investigators began looking into claims of fraud, and roughly 140 investors who handed over a collectively of $20 million responded to a call out for information. So I don't know who these people were giving this gentleman this money. Some of these people, the victims, have even posted their the photos and who they are and that kind of thing online. Apparently, he was promising 71% returns on their money, which is just absolutely crazy. Toronto realtor Sasha Sin sparked the collapsing of Aiden Platursky's alleged scheme in July of 2022. When he filed court documents requesting an immediate freezing of Platursky's accounts in a bid to recoup California $4.56 million he invested. Canada dollars, roughly about 3.32 million US. So a grandmother who lost a CCA, and I keep thinking California, Canadian dollars of 50,000, 34,000 US, said she does not know how he can live with himself. I just don't see why grandma would have believed in this guy. I mean, where was this guy getting these investors even coming from, right? Aiden Platursky drove at least 10 different sports cars, including a rare McLaren Senna purchased for over $1 million in September 2021. I mean, was this guy's banking account not getting flagged? I mean, I thought if you have purchases over a certain amount, this was kind of a flag thing. I mean, people didn't see that the jig was unfolding. Toronto realtor Sasha Shin invested $4.56 million Canada dollars, 3.3 million US with Platursky, and took legal action to try to get it back, which sparked Platursky's downfall. So this guy, I guess, was the reason this guy got caught. There's a mugshot on him back in 2021 after he was charged with domestic violence in Polk County, Florida. Charges were dropped two weeks later. So this guy was all over the place. He was in Canada. He was in just basically living living the high life. It's amazing that these people can go through this amount of money in such a little time, which kind of shows just how really stupid they are. But the investors that invested all this money, I think there's like 140 investors. They were buying into this. So they were somehow buying into this guy's scheme. He's accused of taking millions invested in him and speculators, spending 98% of the funds on a lavish lifestyle, which saw him jet around the world, buy numerous properties, and keep garage filled with supercars, including BMWs, McLarens, and a Lamborghini. Platursky confronted about the continued to take money from investors even when he knew that he couldn't repay the existing clients. So it's basically just a Ponzi scheme that wasn't even a Ponzi scheme. It just unfolded immediately. It's like he took the money, spent the money, and then didn't know what to do. Platursky has not been arrested. In December, he claimed he was kidnapped. So going back to that story, he claims that he was kidnapped. He probably paid for these articles to be put online too. Because a lot of these articles are on paid news sites, which seems to be a little bit ironic in my personal opinion. Claims he was held for 3 days, back to his story, and being tortured and then being dumped. Oof, man. Sen invested 4.56 million Canada dollars. So yeah, I'd be pissed too. I mean, I don't know why he bought into this guy, but yeah, I mean, this just is another one. We've seen a lot of these people. We saw the guy, I don't remember his name. These guys come and go in cryptocurrency and scams and that kind of thing. This is not anything. This is not anything new. We've seen guys like this. There was a guy from Africa that was running a scam. I don't think it was crypto related, but it might have been. But, these kind of scammers, there was another guy that was scamming women online on dating sites, somehow getting them to fork over, hundreds and thousands of dollars. So this really isn't anything new in terms of crypto. I mean, it seems like it, is a big deal, but, these people kind of come and go throughout the crypto space. I mean, whether or not they're promoting an actual crypto scam or they're just creating these illusions of massive gains where people kind of go in and, they go in and invest all their money, and then, it doesn't really turn out to be what they thought, and the scam unwinds pretty quickly. And that's what happened to this little crypto king, little Mr. Platursky, about June of last year. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say more about this guy. There's been tons of these guys. There was the guy, like I said, from Africa. That was the Nigerian guy who was scamming people. There's been tons of these people, and they all have kind of the same fitting profile. They scam the investor, and then shortly after they just spend the money incredibly fast, and none of it all makes sense. And I don't know what's going through these people's head as they're spending this money on they're smart enough in a sense to get these people, and convincing enough, I wouldn't say smart enough, convincing enough to get these people to hand over their money. But at the same time, they're so stupid, they immediately start spending to the money where their scam unravels so quickly. It's almost as if they didn't plan on even getting the money in the first place. So they just don't know what to do, so they just spend the money as fast as possible. So Wall Street Journal today comes out with an article as banks step up to serve crypto firms after signature Silvergate blowups. So this is another Wall Street Journal article you can read for free, and I think it's just amazing that Wall Street Journal is putting all these crypto articles just free for the public to view. Usually a lot of these Wall Street Journal articles, I don't know if these are making the front page of the actual paper copy, but usually these articles, you right when you click on them, you have to pay immediately and subscribe to the Wall Street Journal. I think it's like $1 a week. But they don't just let you read them for free. So this is kind of interesting. I had an article yesterday that was on there that was free as well. And it was kind of the same thing. It was just a free article. So they're wanting people, somebody's paying Wall Street Journal to put this on for free. They want people to see this. They want to roll it out to the masses, and they're doing just that. Some banks are rolling out a welcome mat for cryptocurrency firms that found themselves in need of banking service after the downfall. Two big crypto-friendly lenders, Signature Bank and Silvergate Corp. They're up 30%, by the way, today. Yeah, I mean they're trying to recoup the failed banks. I mean, this is not anything new. So and kind of just while we're on the topic of this kind of stuff, cryptocurrency, at least on a broad crypto perspective right now, it's in the AM morning time, so the market's just opened here, but cryptocurrency is actually fallen, quite, I wouldn't say anything more than we're kind of used to, but Bitcoin Cash down over 5%. A lot of broad cryptos are down 5-6%, and what we're seeing right now is we're seeing a rise in crypto, a rise in, like I said, Silvergate is up 30%. And I know there's some articles online about, them, a bank taking over part of their basically debt obligations. They basically have came in and promised that they were going to purchase basically part of the bank, right? Not the whole thing, but part of it. So it's just kind of ironic today that some of these banking stocks are up and the broader crypto market has taken a fall right this second. Again, it's about 8 o'clock California time. And the date right now is Monday the 27th. So it's in the morning time, depending on where you're catching this stream. Things might have changed by the time you're catching this stream, but that's what's going on right now. But last week was interesting for crypto because we were actually breaking away in the beginning of the week from stocks. Crypto's kind of followed this stock NASDAQ, S&P trend for a while, and it seems that most recently that crypto has broken away from that, which I think is really healthy overall for crypto in general. I mean, this is what we want. We don't want crypto to basically just be following the S&P, because I mean that just gives us the idea that pretty much Wall Street is running crypto. And I do not think that's the case, by the way. But as crypto's companies have scrambled to establish new bank relationships, industry executives say that they have received a positive reception from regional banks such as Customers Bank Corp, based in West Reading, Pennsylvania, and Fifth Third Bank Corp, based in Cincinnati. So they're trying to race to become the entry points for fiat deposits into crypto. Other crypto firms are moving deposits to smaller upstart banks and tout themselves as the digital pioneers, such a New Jersey-based Cross River Bank. Still, others are considering taking their businesses banking offshore. And I think we're just going to see a lot more of this offshore exodus from the U.S. Just makes sense. I mean, if it's going to be harder and people are seeing risk involved in these United States banks, then why wouldn't they? Why would they wait around? They can easily take their business elsewhere to more crypto-friendly countries like Malta. And there's various other cryptocurrency countries that are way more friendly than the U.S. So they don't need to stick around here to see when the U.S. is going to get their thumb out of their ass on this stuff. But yeah. So meanwhile, the biggest banks such as JP Morgan and Chase, the Bank of New York Mellon Corp, still do business with crypto clients through their selective about their client list and what the banking services they provide. Now, no surprise there. Chase is always selective on who they're giving the apple to, right? They don't want everybody in, but they'll let certain people in. There was an article I read recently, a couple days ago, and they were talking about how Jamie Dimon, CEO of Chase, basically knew that Jeffrey Epstein, which was that pedophile guy that killed himself or potentially got killed, I'm not real sure. He basically, apparently there was articles going around that that Jamie Dimon, the CEO of Chase, basically knew the illegal things that that this pedophile Jeffrey Epstein was doing, which I think is very not only disturbing, but kind of falls and kind of is not expected, but I would say it doesn't surprise me in that sense. Just because we've seen these bankers and these people that are in the upper echelon of society, these billionaires, they're just prone to these very weird kind of at least they're weird to me. I mean, I don't know how you guys view the world, but in my eyes, this Jeffrey Epstein guy was a complete just very sick-minded individual. And if the CEO Jamie Dimon turned his eye just because of the money that Epstein was investing through JP Morgan Chase, then he's just as bad. So I don't know if these are actually the cases. A lot of people come out and say this stuff to gain media attention and that and this, that, and the other. But it was an article posted, I believe, in some reputable news sites about a week or two ago that I read this. So it doesn't come to me as a surprise. I mean, some of these, you always watch these movies where they're I've seen movies where you have these high net worth individuals. I think it was Saw. There was all sorts of horror movies where they just do these real peculiar things. And I've seen other, not just movies, but there's always some truth to some of these movies too, I feel like. But I've seen, these shows like Forensic Files and these cold case file shows. And I know you've seen them if you watch, these kind of crime themed TV shows. You just always hear about these weird billionaires and millionaires they not only think that they're above the law, but they just have these very weird fetishes or these weird things. Like, it's almost like they have so much money they don't know, they're just trying to excite parts of their brain that can't be achieved by, and just an example, Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, come on, man. You couldn't just be in line with how normal society views the world. You couldn't just be with girls over 18. I mean, it's a little sick already if you're in your 50s and 60s, or I don't know how old he was, but he was kind of old. And it's already a little sick if you're with an 18-year-old already. I mean, don't you think? But at least it's legal. But it's like he had to take it to the next level and go under the threshold of 18, which I just think is absolutely just idiotic from his perspective, but also just fucking disgusting. I mean, you couldn't find a girl that was over 18 to fit your sick-minded thought. I mean, you had to go under the threshold of it being illegal. I mean, you see what I'm saying here, guys? So I don't know. This is just my own thoughts. I know that Epstein is just one guy, but there seems to be kind of a parallel between these people that are super rich and just they think they're just above society's norm, rules, and things like that. So we'll see how this banking pandemic turns out. I mean, I don't really see it being much good. I mean, we're hearing about banks basically just buying out the other banks, and this has been kind of just the general same thing over the course of time. I mean, these banks go bad and they get bought out, this, that, and the other, and within a week, 2 weeks, 2 years, and 10 years from now, nobody remembers anything. Nobody even really remembers or talks about Wachovia Bank, some of these other banks that got bought out by like Wells Fargo, that kind of thing. So Chinese banks, courts, crypto firms in Hong Kong after mainland ban. Crypto firms are rushing to Hong Kong after city opens its door to the battered sector, finding a surprising source of potential support: Chinese state-owned banks. So isn't this ironic? As we're seeing the bank collapse in the United States, Hong Kong is going, hey, come on down. Come on to Hong Kong. We'll let the mining in China mainland happen. We'll let that all, we'll ban our citizens from trading and using and owning crypto, even though they can't technically ban it. But then all we'll do is we'll go down to little Hong Kong, the district, and we'll allow Chinese state banks to run crypto and basically facilitate crypto and basically use the power of crypto while still holding back the power to their own citizens. So this is just another Chinese-based, I don't know how to say it, what power-hungry Chinese of the politicians and the governments trying to, hold their citizens and restrict their citizens from using the greatest technology in the world, while at the same time not only mining, accounting for almost half the mining between the U.S. being around 37%, I believe, and then we looked it up, I think it was 31% or 29% in China mainland, basically, and then you have, it was Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan, which is Chinese too. Those are Chinese companies and Chinese influence there doing the mining. So it's basically just half and half. Basically, you have the United States and China, and now you have China accounting for a main influence in allowing Chinese state-owned banks now are going to be basically the powerhouses of crypto businesses, because now companies can just go to Hong Kong and open up a checking account and shake hands with the Chinese Hong Kong state-owned bankers, and businesses as usual. So it doesn't surprise me here. I mean, this is just another Chinese, basically Chinese scam on their citizens, which is nothing new. Bitcoin is poised to blow up in Africa. 86 billion banking system. The Lightning Network. Oh, here we go. Get ready for it. The Lightning Network slashes the cost of Bitcoin transactions and virtually zeroed. It enables payments nearly instantaneous around the planet. This so-called Layer 2 technology is built on top of Bitcoin's main chain. Nigeria and South Africa have integrated the Lightning Network into mobile money. So yeah, this is coming live from China. The Block CEO Jack Dorsey is at his top brass descended on Accra, for the inaugural Africa-based Bitcoin conference in December to talk about the most potentially disruptive and transforming alternatives to the continent's existing financial system, Bitcoin. So this is no surprise. First, we go to Africa and we take all their resources. We fuck the people out of basically modern society that they could be enjoying just like the rest of the world. And now we send Jack Dorsey to go down there on the Bitcoin Africa conference to basically, they're just going to basically force Bitcoin Lightning Network on Africa. It's just that simple. That's what's happening. I mean, it's not speculation at this point. This article on CNBC posted today, March 26, 2023. This is happening. I mean, this is definitely the case. They're going down to Africa and they are going to force Lightning Network, and they're going to test run it in Africa, because in the United States, we use credit cards, right? China doesn't do this. China, they skip the entire credit card generation and everything's QR code. Everything's digital. You just scan a QR code, boom, done. So this is very similar. The Chinese way of payments is already the way crypto payments appear on the user side of the platform, right? On any of these platforms or any of these wallets or anything like that. It's as simple as just scanning a QR code and boom, you send the payment, it's done. So what we're going to see here is we are going to see a shift into crypto via Lightning Network to where Africa, because China has already gone down to Africa and built all this stuff out, and now the United States is racing down there. Private companies, the Block CEO Jack Dorsey, former CEO of Twitter, is going down to try to hype these people up about something that they don't really know is being censored to them. Right? They're people only know what you tell them, guys. If you have a lot of our thoughts are only motivated by what we know, what we see, and what we hear. So if you're hearing only one side of the story and you're saying, hey, well, this is what it is, then this is what it is. So this is going to be a big censorship push from Lightning Labs, Lightning Network, all the companies behind Lightning, to try to make money off the transaction fee built within Lightning Network. And not only that, but also control the payment channels, third-party payment channels, to control essentially BTC Core. Because let's be real, guys, not everybody's in the position of owning multiple BTCs. So since its inception in 2008, this unfamiliar form of money has been alternatively blah, 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 blah. They're trying to go back and basically retell everybody what they missed on Bitcoin. But they're leaving out massive key points. That's what I'm talking about with censorship, guys. This is just massive censorship by Lightning Labs. It's massive censorship by the people in control of the world, aka Jack Dorsey. I mean, he's up there, right? As cryptocurrency continues to rise in prominence and become a growing flashpoint of regulators, Dorsey and his deputies are providing an essential counter-narrative. Bitcoin brings financial power to people who would otherwise have none, which is a total lie. Bitcoin Lightning Network doesn't do that. Bitcoin BTC Core in the beginning did that, but it doesn't do that anymore. If you own all your money on Lightning, which they fucking know. They know. I mean, this is obvious. I know that people in Africa, the average African of any African country, I don't know how many total countries there are in Africa at this point. There's quite a few. But it's a very easy shift because of the way they do payments is very similar to China. Like I said, it's just QR code, payment done. So it's very easy for them to shift into Lightning Network if they're only getting one part of the story. And a lot of them don't have, and they could also censor a lot of stuff on their country's internet. So they might not even get the idea of what Bitcoin in the beginning really was, a decentralized peer-to-peer ledger system, payment system that is on chain, which Lightning Network is not on chain. If you don't know about Lightning Network, basically you operate and host a payment channel with whoever you're doing the payment with. But in reality, that's not what's going to happen. There's not going to be payment channels between the receiver and sender. Therefore, let me give you an example. If I'm buying a burger from Bob's Burger Stand, I open up a payment channel with Bob's Burger Stand. Now, there's two problems with that. For one, if Bob's Burger Stand goes offline, then the money goes back to whoever opens up the channel. Now, if Bob's Burger Stand was the one who opens up the channel, the money gets reverted back to Bob's Burger Stand. That's one problem. But here's the second problem, is that Bob's Burger Stand's never going to open up the payment channel in the first place. And Michael Saylor's been pushing this narrative as well. They've been doing, he likes to use the word payment rails. So basically, these payment rails, which will be built out by companies like PayPal and Lightning Labs and all these billionaires around the world trying to control where they see the money going to be going. This will do two things. The payment channel would be opened up by a third party. It won't be opened up by you. It won't be opened up in Bob's Burger Stand. The payment channel will be opened up by Lightning Network, Lightning Labs, and whoever's participating in the conglomerate of Lightning Labs, Lightning Network, and whoever has the big old stash of BTC Core, right? Bitcoin, aka PayPal, and host of other countries around the world will have similar companies doing the same thing. And they will be opening up these payment channels. So nothing is on chain. So your hash, think of a transaction on BTC Core as just a digital signature. You guys transact, a digital signature goes into a block, a miner mines that block and receives a block reward after he successfully, the company mines a successful block into the blockchain of Bitcoin Core, BTC. But what'll happen here is these aren't digital signatures going on to a block. What they are is it's a layer 2, and all these digital signatures get think of it as like an off chain, like a little side signatures that exist only on this entity off chain, which basically it's controlled by the actual person opening up the payment channel, aka PayPal, any other company that decides to manipulate and continue censoring Bitcoin. So what this will do is then when those signatures get put into another block, it actually won't be those signatures. It'll actually just be one final signature with a total amount that goes into the block, which is basically just PayPal changing the amount. And these companies will communicate this on the back end to essentially control Bitcoin. So it basically means that Bitcoin BTC is not functioning how it should and originally should be functioning. So this is huge, guys, because this is going against what Bitcoin was originally made for. And just FYI, we've seen a lot of push for censorship, not only against Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV. Most recently, Bittrex has announced they are delisting Bitcoin SV, which means simply, BSV there's basically no exchanges left for this coin. So unless we get, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the price will go down, because in the beginning when Bitcoin Core, BTC, didn't have any exchanges, it went up 60,000% before Mt. Gox. I don't know if those percentages are completely accurate, but I think they're pretty close. Drop it in the comments section if you think I could be off on that. But if you look back at the timeline on BTC Core and you look at the timeline on price against Bitcoin and Mt. Gox and relative to price, you'll see these were some of the biggest gains. So again, I don't know if this is the case, but it could definitely tie in with price discovery on some of these other coins like BSV. Bitcoin Cash hasn't been delisted from as many exchanges. Now there has been some delistings from quite a few, which, I think that these exchanges that are delisting these type cryptos, I think these are the ones to kind of watch out for in the future in terms of censorship. These are probably going to be exchanges that are already working with Lightning Labs, already working with, all these companies like Block, all these companies that are involved with these people that are trying to make profits off BTC Core by being the middleman. Just like MasterCard and Visa, that's how they make all their money, is fees. It's a lot of little fees adding up and a lot of monthly fees adding up, a lot of annual fees adding up. And Lightning Labs and PayPal and all these people will be doing the exact same thing. So I challenge you guys to look into some of these other cryptocurrencies, BSV, Bitcoin Cash. There's tons of other ones that I think hold true to the original plan of Satoshi. I recommend you look into some of these and just give it a shot, just give it a shot and own some of these. Even if they do get delisted from places, at least you'll have them. At least, the black market will determine price, and that could be, good for you in terms of increased price value against the US dollars, against BTC Core. Because we've seen a big downtrend in a lot of these cryptos. In general, Bitcoin Cash, BSV almost the most, but also coins like Dash, Litecoin. And Litecoin's creeped up a little bit, there is the halving coming up, but a lot of these coins basically have just trended down against BTC Core. And I don't know who's manipulating these prices. I don't know if it's the exchanges, but I think somebody on the back end's got our back. If not, we could just continue to go down against BTC Core, and we've just lost the vision. But I think there's enough people that can find this information readily online, and I think that it will resurface into the payment the payment system narrative, and we will return back to some of the original things that made Bitcoin popular to begin with. So this is just food for thought, guys. I mean, this is just basically on just stuff that's been involved in Bitcoin since the beginning. It's always been challenging to test huge financial businesses and that kind of thing. You know, in the beginning we were fighting against MasterCard and Visa, and we're still fighting against all those things, but now it's opened up a whole nother can of worms, because companies and CEOs have now figured out, well, okay, if everybody's going to go into Bitcoin and crypto, how do we make money off that? Well, there's not much money to be made unless you're an exchange, off any kind of fees or anything like that. And if exchanges are on their way out, which I'm not saying they are, but if it goes back into being a payment system, well, where do those people make money? There's not any way to really make the money, right? You know, the money is to be made within the different coins. Like if you move Ethereum, you pay in a fee, but that goes back to the network. That doesn't go back to a private business. So these people are trying to basically, they're trying to make their fee, and they're trying to figure out any way to do that. So that's exactly why Lightning Network was created. It was to make a fee that people could control, and control BTC Core, aka make money on it. So this is the only way it can be done, and that's what they're basically trying to do with Lightning Labs. And the guy, one of the CEOs, I don't have his name in front of me, but Lightning Labs, one of the CEOs, a real young guy, and guess what his grandfather did? His grandfather was the board, the #1 board member of the Chicago futures exchange market. So these are the type people we don't want in crypto. At least I don't want. And we basically are just trying to fight this war against these type people. So this is whole reason Bitcoin was made in the beginning, was to challenge these type people and to wash away the idea of needing somebody to tell us how to spend our money, and much less giving our money over to somebody else to watch us spend our money. So that is why Bitcoin, if you don't know, was invented. You don't need permission to spend your money, or much less hold your money. And unfortunately with BTC Core Lightning Network, Bitcoin Lightning Network, it does just that. It controls your money. It holds your money for you. It doesn't even let you hold it. And it doesn't even let you spend it, because you're just trading it within the payment channel of companies like PayPal and any other of these billionaire companies that are going to come in and try to make money off crypto, and essentially making money in the sense of getting more Bitcoin. That's their idea. They're going to be basically hodling Bitcoin in the background without people even knowing it. And they're going to be doing this in Africa. It looks like Jack Dorsey, like I said, is going down there to do this. So, I mean, this is what it is, guys. We'll see how it turns out. I'm not giving up on the dream, and I'm very optimistic on what we're doing in some of these other payment coins. We got the Zcash halving coming up. Crypto Highwayman reminded us that on the live stream last night. And depending on when you're catching this one, I'm going to try to add some voiceovers to the live stream to give some kind of benefit to watching these. So Crypto Highwayman, appreciate that. We got the Zcash halving coming up. We got the Dash halving coming up, which happens you read into, guys, how Dash halving works. It's different than pretty much any crypto that I know of. It happens every year, basically. And it just basically is taking Dash out of... it takes inflation out of the Dash ecosystem. So read up on that. We got that happening. We got Litecoin halving happening in about 128 days. think it's around August 4th. I think it'll put the timeline, August 2nd, somewhere around then. And, you know, we got the Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash halvings coming up, you know, not this year, but, you know, soon enough here. I don't have the dates right in front of me. But we'll just kind of watch all these things. We got BSV being delisted from Bittrex. And actually, you know, interesting enough, Exodus Wallet has resumed swaps on BSV today. Or actually yesterday. So that's back online. That's good. And we'll just see kind of how this stuff plans out.